Good morning. Let's take you to the South Bronx, where over the weekend something remarkable happened. Not groundbreaking, not policy driven, not economically meaningful. No, something more urgent. On Saturday, April 18th of 2026, former President Barack Obama sat cross-legged on a classroom rug with New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani, leading preschoolers in a sing-along of The Wheels on the Bus. Yes, that happened. And before you ask, yes, this was a publicly staged event meant to promote Mayor Mamdani's plan for universal, taxpayer-funded childcare across New York City. Because apparently, nothing says serious economic policy discussion like a sing-along. Let's walk through the highlights, because this moment deserves analysis. During their visit to the Learning Through Play pre-K, the former president and mayor didn't just sing. They also read a children's book, Alone and Together by Emily Chesarn, because nothing completes a multi-billion-dollar policy proposal quite like a story time. There were jokes too. At one point, kids asked Mayor Mandami to sing a song called Soda Pop. He didn't know the lyrics, prompting Obama to quip, "It's great that you made the mayor feel really old." Now, to be fair, that may have been the most honest moment in the entire event, because the policy ideas behind the photo op, they're not just old, they're historically outdated. Let's be clear about what this event really was. This wasn't about children. This wasn't about education. This was about selling socialism, softly, smiley, and with a sing-along. Mayor Mamdani, who identifies as a democratic socialist and became New York's first Muslim mayor in January 2026, is pushing a plan that would expand free universal childcare across the city. Sounds nice, right? Until you ask one simple question: who's paying for it? Because here's the reality: it isn't free. This is a multi-billion-dollar program funded by taxpayers who are already being squeezed by some of the highest taxes in the country. And if Mayor Mamdani's broader tax agenda goes full in effect, well, the cheerful little song about the wheels on the bus, let's just say the wheels won't be on the bus for long. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Standing right behind him was Barack Obama, a man who often portrayed as a progressive icon, but who in reality governed a pragmatic capitalist. Let's not rewrite history. Obama did not govern a socialist. He supported markets. He worked with corporations. He bailed out industries to preserve capitalism, not replace it. So seeing him lending credibility, symbolically or otherwise, to a policy framework rooted in socialism expansion raises a real question. What exactly is being endorsed here? Because socialism, despite how it rebranded, repackaged, softened, has a track record. And it's not a good one. Across the world, in country after country, centralized, state heavy economic systems have struggled, often failing outright. From economic stagnation to capital flights to reduced innovation, the pattern is consistent. And yet, here we are, watching the idea being introduced not through policy debate, but through preschool performances. Let's talk about New York City for a moment, because while the event was happening in a classroom, outside of those walls, a different story was unfolding. Businesses are leaving, high-income earners are relocating, entire industries are reconsidering their footprint in the city. Why? Taxes, regulations, cost of living, and now, potentially, even more financial burden to fund an expansive government program. So the question becomes, at what point does compassion turn into instability? At what point does free become unaffordable? And at what point does a city, already under pressure, reach its breaking point? And look, no one is arguing about helping families, no one's arguing about help supporting children, but serious policies require serious conversations, not sing-alongs, not stage moments, not political theaters distinguishing a community outreach. Because while Mayor Mamdani and President Obama were debating pizza, Chicago versus New York, real New Yorkers are debating something else entirely. Can we afford to stay? And if the answer continues to trend no, then it won't matter how many songs are sung in a classroom or how many books are read on a rug, because eventually there won't be enough taxpayers left to keep that bus moving, wheels or not. For Englebrook Independent News, I'm Haylee Ficuciello.